base, and she had talked about in the offseason that's why she wanted to develop a three-point shot. So defenses weren't playing her like that. Very surprised she didn't let one fly there.
Deep three from Howe. She let it fly, but it just goes left of the bucket. Stokey giving space again. This time she'll pull the trigger, but it bounces out. Mullet. Lot of space, but she'll give it up to Harabedian. Slate spins around Hayden, trying to get a shot off. She scoops it up and in.
Great move by Slate. Carrie Pickens, she's been a coach that has really loved to develop post players, and Jenna Slate showed off that right there, being able to kind of work a little up and under on the taller defender in Hayden.
Ashland has had 18 All-American players. Chit-chat right from three.
Chit-chat right, she's being able to score at the basket from beyond the arc. Again, just being able to do whatever Jen Jansen needs of her tonight.
Ashland has had 18 All-Americans, going back to my point. 16 of them have been post players.
Wow.
Carrie Pickens knows how to pick her post players. Ashley Mullet pulls up from three, can't answer. Rebound comes down to McCabe. Chit-chat right, slow as she, oh boy, her left calf. Her left calf, it looks to be tightening up on her, and she is going to try and hobble off the court. Here's a three from Hannah Stokey, that won't go.
And not even just as a coach, but also as a player as well. She's the only woman in D2 women's basketball to have a title, not as a player, as an assistant coach, and a head coach. So whatever you can think of, she's done it.
Feuerbach with the takeaway. Off the glass, she's fouled.
There's Feuerbach again, showing off that defensive prowess that you were talking about, bringing that here into her senior year.
Feuerbach will head to the line. That is her second steal of the night.
Being able to live in the passing lanes like Kylie Feuerbach has, and also being able to get steals like Chit-Chat Wright has, snatching the ball away from ball handlers, really helps this Iowa team, especially because they're a team that wants to play fast. That's how you ignite transition and get those rim runs easy to Ava Hayden or Hannah Stokey.
And you said it perfectly. It's exactly how they want to play. They want to play quick, they want to play in transition, and they want to have as many possessions as possible so they score as many points as possible.
Exactly. You got to start with defense, though. Defense, you know, the saying goes, defense wins championships, and that's going to be your anchor game in and game out. Are you going to be able to get those key stops when the game is coming down to crunch time?
Vermilia spins around in the paint, can't get to go off the window. Rebound comes down to Stremla. Across for Addie Deal. She drives, loses possession, trying to hang on. It'll be a jump ball. Possession arrow to the Hawkeyes.
Addie Deal looked like a good drive, just got a little bit too ahead of herself. Looked like she was going for a high pick all.
Houston wide open underneath the bucket, and that'll be the easiest two she's had all night.
That's a great baseline out of bounds set play to set up Houston. Phenomenally run by the Hawkeyes.
Lopez around the defenders. Able to hook it up and in.
The back of your body to ward off the defense.
Rodriguez down to Hayes. She's blocked.
Standing at 6'3", and she used all 6'3" to get that hand on Layla Hayes' shot.
Coach Pickens said that Kyra Hill's size is not one typical of the Division II level. A lot of times you'll see those 6'3" players go Division I. Stremler's 3 is off the iron. But Kyra Hill decided to come to Ashland and looking for a big season in her redshirt freshman year. 3 from Yoder is off the line. Addie Deal with the rebound. Emily Rodriguez, wide open 3. She does it again.
Emily Rodriguez stays perfect from behind the arc. 3 for 3 on the night.
Well, if you've got the Hawkeyes coming up on your schedule, you better circle Emily Rodriguez. Do not leave her open behind the three-point line. Vermilia puts up a shot that first one where they came up just short against LSU. Cynthia Folter stepped up big time in the absence of Molly Davis when she went down with an injury, and that really propelled her into starting roles the next couple of seasons, including last year when she was really relied on her senior year. But great to see her back on the bench with the Hawkeyes.
And all that great experience is going to be used to teach all these younger players and to really be more of a personal presence in that locker room, because she's gone through this whole process. And it's not like it was maybe 10, 15 years ago. It was just last season, the years prior. So I think she's going to be a great resource for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Jada Jimphy and Callie Levine check in for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Callie
love to be playing together, and that's what you want to see from teammates. You can truly tell that they really love being around each other.
Well, it's early in the season, trying to knock off some rust. Too many players on the court will lead to some free throws for Corey Vermilia.
I'm sure Jen Jansen will have her team firing on all cylinders, but communication is something that you're really going to have to press into, especially with a younger team like this. She's mentioned to us that she's had to bring some more energy in, along with the rest of the coaching staff, to really get these players to a higher level of play, to the higher standard that is now the culture for Iowa women's basketball.
And when she mentioned the standard, she pointed all the banners now hanging in Carver Hawkeye because the last few seasons, the back-to-back national championship runs, of course the retired jersey of Caitlin Clark, her logo still on the court here. A lot of the Ashland players, including Carrie Pickens, were trying to shoot from that logo in shoot-around today. So some big shoes to fill as they continue to build after the Caitlin Clark era, but this team, a ton of new faces, very exciting. Levine for three is off the mark. Hayes with the rebound. She goes up, is fouled, and it drops in.
And Layla Hayes, she's going to play all the way until that clock reads 0-0-0, getting a nice offensive board right there and quickly going back up to the hoop.
Callie Levine, a sophomore from Solon, Iowa, scored her first career points against Murray State in the NCAA tournament. She played in 10 games, but her first points didn't come till one of the final games of the season. Was 2024 Miss Iowa Basketball, USA Today Iowa Basketball Player of the Year. Again, limited action in her true freshman season. Would love to see if Callie Levine might get some more minutes this season.
And Callie Levine, like you were talking about, a great resume in high school. She averaged just about 22 points per game at her high school, and that's the type of offensive production that Jen Jansen wants to see out of her. It just has to come in more of a timely type of way. And her being able to be in the game now in these last few minutes, see if she can take advantage of that.
Jenna Slates is fouled as she goes up. Fouls against Layla Hayes. That'll be her second personal foul.
Even though Callie's gotten off to maybe a slower start in her Iowa career, sometimes it's a little tough just mentally being able to kind of deal with all this hype that you had coming in from high school, and the time that you do have on the court is very limited. So you want to be able to take advantage of that time as much as possible, but it is a lot of pressure when game in and game out, you might not see that much playing time, get that many reps. You really want to take advantage of it.
Yeah, the pressure is definitely on when you do have those opportunities, and you have to capitalize on those opportunities to see the court more. Addie Deal brings it up, looking to capitalize on her opportunity in her first season with the Hawkeyes. That pass is high, intended for Jada Jimphy. Some miscommunication between her and Hayes.
That was a great look by Layla Hayes trying to get over to Jada on that left block. Layla saw two players were coming on her from Ashland that was leaving Jada wide open for a dump down pass. Ball just kind of slipped out of her hands, going out of bounds.
Jenna Badali working around Taylor Stremlow. Knocked away for a moment. Good defense by Stremlow.
Yeah, great defense.
Addie Deal now switches on for Ashley Mullet. Pass fouled by Lexi Howe. Backing down defender, short clock, puts it up. She's fouled, and it drops in. As the clock winds down this exhibition matchup, Stremlow winds up from three. Hayes there with the putback.
And Iowa has given themselves so many extra possessions just because of offensive rebounding. And sure, maybe on paper they are taller than the majority of the post players for Ashland, but they're putting themselves in great positions to get offensive rebounds. I think that's the biggest key of why they've had so much success tonight.
17 second chance points for the Hawkeyes tonight to go along with your point, Sam. They have out-rebounded Ashland for sure. Deep three for Addie Deal. That's what the Hawkeye crowd was looking for.
A huge eruption for Addie Deal. Everyone knows the hype around this freshman being just the 5th McDonald's All-American.
Nice shot there from Alyssa Lopez to scoop it up and in. And 2 minutes remaining in the ball game. Kenise Johnson finding the floor. Did not see any game action last year. Has been dealing with injuries ever since she's gotten to Iowa City a couple of years ago. You can see she's still wearing that brace on her left leg. Levine and puts it up.
Levine with a great high pickup into a jump stop, get into her position. Looked like maybe she was a little bit too far underneath the basket, but was able to throw it up and put the right touch on it for the 2 points.
Callie had to wait until the final game of the season last year to score her first bucket. Tonight, in the first game in Culver Hawkeye this season, she scores 2.
That's got to feel good for her.
Hayes gives it up to Addie Deal on the right wing. Dumps it back down to Hayes. She goes up and she's fouled.
That exact play, we saw that in shoot-around. Jan Jensen has talked about those in-state rivalry games of Drake and UNI, and as well as Iowa State. Those are some of the biggest non-conference games, and no matter what the teams look like between Iowa or UNI or Drake or Iowa State, those games are always close, and the state always comes out to support women's basketball teams. It doesn't even have to be Iowa.
And that Drake game always means a little bit more here in Iowa City, especially to Jan Jensen and Lisa Bluter. Jan, one of the only 2 players to have her number retired at the Knapp Center, which is where the Drake Bulldogs play, was of course a fantastic basketball player there. And that's how her and Lisa Bluter got connected. And now they've been able to bring it to Iowa City and to the biggest stage.
Jan Jensen calls Lisa Bluter one of her closest friends, if not maybe her best friend as well.
Kenise Johnson gives it up to Jada Jimphy. She drives into the paint. She's fouled. She's going to do an offensive foul on Jada Jimphy, so it'll go the other way.
Jada on that drive just lowered her shoulder a little bit too much to draw that foul on her.
Joplin Yoder gives it up to Corey Vermilia. She spins around, puts up a tough shot, but is short. Levine the other way. Kenise Johnson looking for her first points in over a year. Jimphy for 3. That one's off the mark. Rebounded by Hayes, battling for possession, but she'll be fouled.
Foul is on number 11, Kia Castro.
And again, like I've said, even till the final whistle, Layla Hayes, she knows that she's a freshman. She still has everything to prove to Jan Jensen and to the rest of this Iowa women's basketball program. So she's not really looking at the score right now, and that's just a great sign from a freshman that, you could be letting your foot off the gas here, but you're still fighting to the very end.
And it is known that she is most likely going to be that number 2 to Ava Hayden, but she still wants to fight to continue to climb the depth chart. Even though there's only 2 centers, it's between Ava Hayden and Layla Hayes. She wants to continue to fight and try and compete with Hayden for that starting spot.
And iron sharpens iron. I mean, that's how you become better as a player for both Ava and Layla, both of them pushing each other to the limit.
Levine, wide open 3, leaves it long. 30 ticks remaining in this one. And it'll be a foul against Layla Hayes. And because both teams are in the bonus, Ashland will head to the line with Joplin Yoder, the 6'1 freshman from Walnut Creek, Ohio. First team All-Ohio in high school, was also an Ohio Miss Basketball finalist.
These freshmen that the head coach, Carly Pickens, should I say, has brought in, or Carrie Pickens, sorry, that has brought in for Ashland. All these players are very highly talented, especially in their high school programs, most of them being the program leaders in points, rebounds, assists, so you got to give a lot of credit to her recruiting.
A highly A very highly touted Division II program, bringing a fantastic recruiting class for this rebuilt Ashland Eagles team. Looking to go on another run deep in the Division II NCAA tournament. The Hawkeyes are gearing up for their own run here at Homemade Carver. Hawkeyes, 6.9 on the clock. Their shot clock will be turned off as Ashland will inbound the ball, and the Hawkeyes will take down the Ashland Eagle to 63 in the exhibition matchup as the clock winds down.